What do you guys think Hassan is going to do if Russia does invade Ukraine? I feel like Hassan is taking a lot of his credibility on this.
What is he saying? They're not gonna?
He thinks that the entire situation. I personally am not. I don't know if Russia will invade. I feel like they won't. I lean towards no. But Hassan has staked his entire reputation basically saying that, like, just back up, that all of the desire for them to invade, I think that probably wouldn't come in, whatever, is just faked. It's all fake. He says that all of it is like the U.S.
So
just pretend.
he literally thinks the Western media is.
Yes,
like,
it's made all of it up. It's 100% a lie. That Russia has no interest of going in. That it's whatever. And wait, do you have to? Oh. Yeah, that's what his position is.
It's incredibly selfish. Please.
14 months, the best brain rot.
At the same time, Secretary General of the Soviet Communist Party and People Commissar on the Marriage of Ethnicities decided to build the country on the principles of autonomy, thus giving to the republics, to the future administrative units, wide authority when they were supposed to join the state. Lenin criticized this plan, and he suggested to make concessions to the nationalists, the way he called them back then, advocates of independence.
Damn, do you think Hassan is like super worried that Russia's gonna invade? He's gonna look like a fucking moron?
A confederation.
Oh no.
Give the right to every nation for self-determination. That was the basis of the Soviet state.
Dude, this is so incredibly fucked up. You can never have a conversation about this. Popular streamer Hassan Piker publicly defends Hitler invading Austria while live to 40,000 viewers. They found it again. They found another way to fucking do this. I did not defend Hitler invading Austria, dude.
He's so mad.
Literally. The song gets canceled every week. Haven't seen it on Reddit yet, but here we are, though I'm not sure what Hassan's stance on Russia taking Crimea is based off this video. Oh. It's fucking insane, dude. Who is this fucking piece of shit, dude? Let's see. Let's look at this fucking piece of shit's personal profile real quick.
Uh-oh. Oh, we're going hardcore brigading.
Fuck you. What a fucking piece of shit.
Oh no.
r/World News Andy. Like, motherfuckers who can't, like...
World News Andy.
Who can't, like, win... who can't do anything. Try to, like... Oh, that's weird. That's crazy.
A Destiny poster?
Oh, another
my
fucking
God.
Destiny viewer.
Oh no.
Now realize, like, he can't fucking do this shit on LSF. So now he has to go to a public freakout, dude. That's fucking wild. What an incredible thing. You're literally terrorists, dude. You're like internet terrorists. You're so fucking shitty.
This thread is
sad.
7 minutes old.
Oh my fucking lord.
Oh. If he finds a new thread about himself on like a popular subreddit, he can use his audience to try to nuke the thread before it actually gets any traction. That's kind of smart. So he views this thread early, even though it has 70 comments. Hopefully with 30, 40,000 people watching, him downvoting it on stream, he can get people to go to that thread, brigade the fuck out of it, and then it doesn't get any traction on. Yeah.
Deal with your mental health by touching grass, not by trying to fucking actively and deliberately, I don't know.
46% upvoted
Not trying to
now?
actively and deliberately fucking post this shit clipped out of fucking context, okay?
My Reddit is being spammed. Can I get him banned somehow? You can probably report the clip to the admins. Normally they don't like shit like this, but I don't know if they're doing it.
Have a right to disagree with you and state your colonies these years, dude. Are you fucking stupid? People disagreeing with me in my community is one thing. People literally fucking posting something out of context to make it seem like I'm a fan of Hitler.
What is the out of
Is
context?
fucking ridiculous, and actually, unironically, making it seem like that was the worst thing that Hitler ever fucking did. That's what I'm angry about. Imagine your source of happiness being is waiting for a streamer to say some easily misconstruable shit. Yeah, I mean that's it.
That's it, bro. True. Find some more comments that agree with you and read them, bro.
Oh. Anyway, let's continue.
First, in 1922, it was enshrined in the declaration on the establishment of the Soviet Union, and then after the death of Lenin, it was also
There's
enshrined
another
in the
public freakout
Constitution
pose?
of the USSR of 1924. And right away,
Oh, don't
here
worry,
we
it's
have
old.
a lot of questions. Raises a lot of questions.
Reddit is one of those places.
Notice
where
how that post was old, so he didn't give a fuck about it. He didn't downvote it. He didn't interact with it at all because he knows he doesn't need his fancy brigade. That one. It was old, didn't gain traction, so he didn't care, and he just left it.
the post was already at negative upvotes before we looked at it, so don't worry about it too much. Those other subs aren't nearly as deranged as LSF. It doesn't even fucking matter because like, it doesn't matter because a little bit of push on one end can like very easily change the outcome of a post and like totally fucking brigade it.
And first of
That's
them,
so
and the main
fucking dumb.
point,
Oh damn! Even reset arrows turning on Hassan. Oh no!
making all kinds of concessions to the
Rip.
nationalists at the outskirts of the former empire. To give to the administrative units that were haphazardly formed huge territories, oftentimes that had nothing to do with them. And they were giving these territories with the population of historic Russia. And these administrative units were given status and shape of the state entities. And once again, this begs a question. Why did they have to do such generous gifts even the most Latin nationalists couldn't dream of, and at the same time give the Republic the right to withdraw from the new state without any preconditions? At first glance, it doesn't seem clear. It seems like madness, but only at first glance, because there is an explanation. After the revolution, the main goal Bolsheviks had was to keep power, to stay at power at any cost. And for this, they went to any length to sign humiliating conditions of the Brest truce when the Kaiser's Germany were in the dire economic situation and the outcome of the World War I was already almost decided.
Irish with some
And
sun.
by
I see you in there.
concessions to the nationalists inside the country.
Deleted by moderator. Dumpstered.
From the point of view of historic destiny of Russian people, Lenin's, for instance,
He's criticizing the USSR, but Americans around me still call him communist. Dude, if you think Vladimir Putin is a communist, I don't know what to fucking tell you. Okay? I just like, he's not. He has literally talked about how Marxist-Leninism is a threat. That the Western world needs to fucking fear as well. One of the wealthiest dudes on the planet, okay, is not even remotely good. You're a psycho. Okay, you're a complete psychopath. He's also not a good guy. He's not a good guy. He's a bad person, okay? More importantly, he's a bad fucking dude. Did you admit you were wrong? I wasn't wrong. He has not fucking invaded. Shut the fuck up.
Oh no!
Motherfuckers are like, dude, I've been wrong this past week, and now he's.
Oh, one of the things that I wrote on my thing today for this little presentation I'm doing for this class tonight, which I don't know how that's gonna go. But hey, maybe Hassan could tune in and learn from this. One of the things that I had written, was make sure that you don't overstate your position. So, for instance, this would be an acceptable thing to say. As of right now, ivermectin does not appear to be effective as a treatment for COVID-19. Now, there's another statement I could make, which is ivermectin is not effective at treating COVID-19. Now, they sound similar, but the second statement, it comes with way more authority that might not be true in the future, whereas the first statement is always true. Even in the future, if ivermectin does turn out to be an effective treatment for COVID-19, oh, well, there wasn't data, now there is data. Don't ever overstate your position. So, if Hassan would have couched his language a little bit more responsibly here, and it would have said, you know, right now it doesn't seem like they might invade, but maybe in the future they could, maybe the conditions change, you would have more wiggle room there. But since he very concretely said they're not going to invade, they're not going to invade, man, if they do invade, oh!
And try to get me banned, or try to do PR campaign, like PR campaigns against me. It's very strange. And then you also have like these fucking weirdos, man. You are always drunk.
This was good, thank you, Hillshire. Now, was it worth it? I think it's $120 for 7 meals. and I think this was about 480 calories. Expensive. Hopefully good macros and micros, but
It's also impossible for someone to have a stance change on new information like the more recent Putin posturing. Exactly. I've already addressed that. Vladimir Putin recognizing the independence of Eastern Ukrainian territories that have a
let me check.
chunk of Russian people living in them, but are not majority Russian. Very different than Crimea.
About 460 calories.
Those people, hairline is moving back just like Ukraine's border, and that's the motherfucker. First of all, there it is, dude.
Sorry, that's not funny.
There it is. A 28-month subscriber. I did not fucking hate people living in them, but are not majority Russian. Very different than Crimea.
About 460 calories.
Those people, hairline is moving back just like Ukraine's border, and that's the motherfucker. First of all, there it is, dude.
Sorry, that's not funny.
There it is. A 28-month subscriber. I did not fucking hate your ass.
Talk about NATO as a smokescreen. It's not a breach of international.
So about $16 for a meal that is 460 calories. Still cheaper than DoorDash. Oh shit! I should
That's
meme
the
check
one
it.
that fucking gets you clapped up, baby. That's all right. I've been enjoying his like schizo posting in the chat for the past 4 years, 5 years that he supported me, but that's entirely separate.
No, that's a meme. That's a low blow. Never mind.
You have crossed the line, unlike the Russian forces, which have yet to cross the line, the Ukrainian border. You, on the other hand, have.
It's cheaper per meal if you get lunch, dinner, and third entree. Well, I did get lunch and dinner. Lunch and dinner and third entree? Damn, dude, that's a lot of shit, okay. Is the third entree the same thing as like these on average macros? I upped it to lunch and dinner. We'll see. Just chill there.
Break. It's coming right now. And if you no longer want to see those ads, hairline. Like, this is what happens whenever I have like fucking weird psychopaths in here, okay? Restreaming my content. Like, this is what happens, okay? This is what happens. It's like, dude, your mom would literally give up a significant portion of her wealth to have sexual intercourse with me one fucking time.
What the fuck? Bro, are you okay?
You watch debate lord fucking YouTubers. You are a fucking weirdo who never leaves his fucking cave basement. And you're out here being like, dude, I think you look bad. It's crazy. It's like denying reality in front of your fucking eyes, okay? Anyway, let's continue. Like I was saying, Hassan, no matter what happens, you weren't wrong in attempting to reframe things and encourage diplomacy. This is the only answer. Agreeing to the sincere negotiations with European nations at the helm. The lessons learned is not defeated it.
Okay, hold on. Just to be clear, because people keep saying like diplomacy is the answer to so. Oh man, something to consider. Okay. There's a lot of complicated back and forth between understanding how far either side is going to go in a given conflict. Sometimes establishing boundaries is good. Hey, we're not going to nuke anybody. Sometimes establishing boundaries gives too much power. Hey, no matter what you do, we're not going to send troops there to help. Oh, well, glad to know that. Just something to consider when you say, well, diplomacy is the answer, right? It's possible to lean harder and harder into situations with hard or soft power to force more diplomatic negotiations that make it so that if you only engage in diplomacy, you can get like a little bit fucked. So for instance, right? Let's say that I call an ex. Let's say I'm an abusive ex and I call my ex and I'm like, I want to make a deal about our something. And, you know, she's like, oh, well, you know, you're abusive. And it's like, okay, I just want to talk. And like, okay, well, as long as it's just diplomacy, that's fine. Let's say that I show up at her doorstep and I have a fucking AR-15, okay, in my full camo gear. And I kick her door a couple times. And I'm like, I'm ready for you to be diplomatic now with me. The negotiating position at that stage is gonna be a little bit fucked, okay? Because hard to negotiate with somebody when there's an Abrams. I don't know what the Russian tanks are called. The SVT-77. Somebody plays World of Tanks here and knows, right? The negotiating is arguably the goal, right? When Putin leans harder and harder and harder into these situations where he's like, I'm gonna fuck you up, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Oh, you want to negotiate with me? Oh, well, that's cool. Well, let's see what concessions. Let's see what concessions I can get out of you now that I've like moved 75% of my military to the Ukrainian border. And I basically threatened to invade, you know, the eastern half of the country. Not to say that diplomacy is bad, not to say that military action is good, not to say that you should be nuking people, bombing people, whatever, but I'm just saying all of this has to be taken into account when you're talking about what's going on. To just come out and be like, oh, well, the United States should only respond diplomatically, like, I mean, ideally, yeah, but the other side is like pushing really hard for a lot of crazy shit to happen, and their goal is to get diplomatic concessions out of you based on those types of hard pushes. Just something to keep in mind. Something to keep in mind, okay? Like, would you negotiate with a crazy juggler that's threatening to inch your lane? You'd probably be willing to give up a lot more than you would otherwise, right? When you see that Kane diving for the bot tower at level 3. And he's like, I want you to send me fucking nudes, or I'm gonna fucking int your lane, right? Well, now he's negotiating, and you can negotiate, but like, he's got a lot of power in that position based not just on the diplomatic thing, but the hard military power behind it. Russia demands the impossible, and NATO doesn't agree in Russia's as well. You don't want to negotiate, so we will employ our tanks. Yeah, maybe too. Yeah. But guys, stop falling for the Sam Hyde shit. Are you really buying into that Russian? Are you really buying into that Russian will attack Ukraine is just American propaganda? Yes, I do buy into American propaganda. Whose propaganda do you buy into? Russian hovercraft. Holy shit. Oh, thank God. IQ bot jungle on my own, okay? Because that's what we do. We take the pony and we go to the jungle. I thought the analyst desk stance was zero invasion. I don't think there will be an invasion because I don't think Russia wants to invade. But I think Russia wants to get as close to invading as possible so that they can try to get some sort of favorable concessions from the West. And I think that's the goal. Ban a champion. Oh yeah, always this.
Can we have the your mom is willing to give a significant portion or her wealth to have sex with me as a sound alert?
What is a favorable concession from the West? I don't know. Good question, actually. I would have to Google what exactly is Russia asking for right now. My guess is probably something to do with it can't be recognizing independent parts of Ukraine. The West would never agree to that. That's way too much. It could be guarantees related to like NATO withdrawals, but that would never happen either. That's too much. Maybe a guarantee against NATO future expansion, possibly. I'm not sure actually. I haven't looked at what Russia's like in particular asking for right now. Do you really think they would spend that much resources to just not invade? I mean, they probably do military exercises. Like, I'm pretty sure Russia still has a huge fucking military that they pay money to sustain and everything, right?
The Ukraine definitely bombed the outpost eventually.
Stop calling it the Ukraine, okay? That's a slur. Hello, gamers. No typing unless you're a Dia Plus. Shut the fuck up, noob. Sorry, I didn't mean it. Wow, good luck, summoners. We'll surely have a good game of League of Legends today.
Fucking bad because he decided to invade Austria. He was bad because he was fucking killing Jews, okay?
Oh, when you see shit like this, oh, here you go. You should report this shit immediately.
Even clip channels are being annoying and commenting in the description on how.
I feel like if I ever gave a take that was so fucking wrong.
Say this brigading here. I downvoted the Destiny. Go and downvote this fucking dumbass Destiny post. Okay.
Invade Ukraine. Can we stop saying this? Hassan didn't incorrectly predict that Russia wouldn't invade Ukraine. That's not the problem. That's not what he did. What he did was...
What's up, folks? I'm live and alive, and we got a lot to talk about. I was right about Ukraine. That's right. War is not imminent. Oh, shocked. Shocked to find out. Anyway, we're going to talk about that and a bunch of other stuff, so get in now. Possibly a new React series as well, so you don't want to miss it.
I think maybe I'll tell my editors to do this, but I think I'll just change, like, I'll change this every day to Ukraine has still not been invaded by Russia every day to make sure that the wishes of these fucking weirdo, like, I'm actually a sock them and you're a fucking tanky idiots on the internet. Will, yeah, change it to Russia still has yet to invade Ukraine. And it's like day 11 at this point, you know what I mean? And time again that I don't think there is war that is going to happen because it would fucking destroy Russia. And I still believe that. I still believe that. Okay? You care more about being like, yo, Hasanabi, you were fucking wrong. I hope you all get drafted, dude.
Hey.
I hope you get fucking drafted.
Wait, are we going to war? I thought
No, but I hope they fucking drop your bitch ass, your fucking pasty little bitch ass into fucking Luhansk, okay? To defend Ukrainian sovereignty and its fucking borders, you dipshit. I don't want Ukrainians to fucking die.
You are a bottom.
Okay? But you can. What's wrong with NATO expansion? If majority population voted in favor, would that mean NATO expansion is justified? In that circumstance, NATO is 1000% an aggressor outside fucking force, okay? Russia is not. Russia annexing its own fucking territory that it's had, that its own territory full of its own fucking people is not the same as NATO being like, we're gonna turn your country into a fucking base and put literal fucking military bases and rockets into your country. Throw the question marks all you want. I don't give a fuck about the Ukrainian constitution. I don't give a fuck about the Ukrainian like border sovereignty that some of you dumbasses are fucking talking about like you're like a 3%er about for Ukraine, okay? It's so stupid. Crimea is not the same as Kiev, however. Crimea is not the same as the rest of Ukraine, however. Eastern Ukrainian territories have a lot of fucking Russian people living in them because Ukraine and just like Crimea and much of the rest of the fucking country was a part of Russia, was a part of the USSR until not that long ago, okay? People's parents were alive back then. So obviously, there's a lot of fucking Russian people living there. So if you, but like, you feeling bad about the Crimean annexation does not change the reality of the Crimean annexation being a completely justifiable fucking act by the Russian government, okay? So that's it. That's fine. And Hitler invaded countries based on Germanic ties at first? Yeah, dude. Talk to me when he's fucking throwing Ukrainians in a fucking What are you talking about? Talk to me when he's throwing Ukrainians at a concentration camp, okay? Hitler wasn't fucking bad because he decided to invade Austria. He was bad because he was fucking killing Jews, okay? That was the problem.
That was my favorite Hassan
like,
take.
He wasn't like, oh yeah, we're gonna fucking annex territory with like Germanic people in it. That wasn't the main problem with Hitler, I think. That was like maybe 8th down the line. Like, I am further, I am more critical, as of now, I am more critical of the Russian actions of yesterday than the American government is, okay? Just understand that. I am more critical of the actions that took place yesterday than the American government is. The American government that was agitating for war and said, you know, banging the war drums, banging the war drums, banging the war drums, literally non-fucking stop, saying like Russia is gonna murder babies, they're gonna eat babies inside of Kiev. They're ready to eat babies. They have a thirst for blood. They have a thirst for blood. Those motherfuckers have now turned around and been like, okay, well, you know, maybe this is not an invasion because technically they invaded 8 years ago. So maybe it's not an invasion. No, this is a legitimized, like, this is the actual legitimate fucking invasion in comparison to the past 8 years of like Tim Pool after that 49 state landslide. Yeah, I would look like Tim Pool after that 49 state landslide L if, you know, there was a bombing, active bombing currently happening on Kiev and like Ukrainians were being murdered left and right at this moment. I would be that way if America was like, we're going with a full-throated, this is a full-blown invasion, and yet it hasn't happened. At this point, I have a more aggressive stance on Russian troops inside of Ukrainian borders than the American State Department does. So how do you pair up with that? Bro, America's literally like, they're doing a fucking W tour. They're like, yo, we're gonna predict the misinformation to false flag. Dude, okay, solve it. Solve the problem. What the fuck are they gonna do? Are they gonna go in? Are they gonna fucking fight back? Are they gonna like actually fly planes into Ukraine? Are they gonna send in the 6,000 troops at the fucking border of Ukraine? Non-believers like you was on. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they got this one fucking, they got this one, okay? At this point, if you are in a position of fucking power, you had every opportunity to fucking exhaust diplomacy instead of fucking endlessly being like, this is a war that's gonna happen, this is a war that's gonna happen. Okay, then fucking try to solve it.
I don't want to second guess what he's gonna do next. That we know he's doing now, and you know.
You could just take the L Ukraine. Wait, no, that's not what I'm saying. America has already delivered the L to Ukraine, okay? That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying America needs to fucking...
Damn, I think Hassan actually got a bad post on Public Freakout that he wasn't able to suppress. Oh, he's trying though. 572 comments, only 591 upvotes, posted 6 hours ago. Damn, I wonder if he... Do you think he brigaded this on stream? Did he look at it? Hassan should be his admins should ban him from Reddit. Like, I don't think it violates Twitch TOS, but he definitely breaks the Reddit TOS. Like, you're not supposed to be able to brigade your own content this hard. It's insane.
I've been noticing it's been hella toxic. Even clip channels are being annoying and commenting in the description on how you're wrong. Why are they clipping me then? Like, if my own fucking clip channels are clipping all of my videos to make money, why are you fucking clipping wrong information then? If that's the case, and then fuck you, dude. Don't make me DMCA your bitch asses. I will destroy the Hasanabi Clips industrial complex. I will make what Russia is doing to Ukraine look like little kisses to the Hasanabi Eclipse industrial complex. Do you understand me? Motherfuckers are literally posting my YouTube videos from my fucking Twitch, stealing this shit because I allow them to, so they can make money off of it, just to make me look fucking bad or shit on me. What the fuck is this? I'm gonna look this up. I didn't even know. I haven't been on YouTube for a long time. I've been noticing it's been hella toxic. Even clip channels are being annoying and commenting in the description on how.
I feel like if I ever gave a take that was so fucking wrong, I don't know if I've ever seen anybody in the history of like politics give a take that's as wrong as Hassan's was. Maybe Tim Pool's 49 state landslide. I feel like out of respect for the situation, he should just shut the fuck up and not talk about it. Like, if you are so wrong on this, how can you pretend to give any insightful commentary afterwards? Like, you don't know, you don't understand anything. You don't know the history, you don't know the current stuff that's going on. You have no understanding of either side. You just don't know anything. So I feel like out of respect for yourself, you're like, okay, well, I thought this was all fake shit from the West. Apparently, I don't know fuck all, so fuck it. I would just walk away. Like, why would you, like, where's the self-respect? But I mean, obviously he's making a lot of money off it. He doesn't give a fuck about anybody in there. No shot Tim Pools was objectively worse? No, I don't think so. I don't think it was that much worse. Like, Tim Pool made one stupid fucking statement one time about the 49 state landslide. Hassan was smug posting every single fucking day about it. Like, while simultaneously saying he's like a foreign policy expert. This is what he does. Like, Tim Pool said it quite a lot. He said the 49 state landslide thing. Oh, okay. It might be embarrassing. I still think Hassan's is like on level with it, even if Tim Pool repeated it.
Hold on then.
The Hassan video? Wait, that came from the DGG for Life channel? That's gotta be fucking his mind real hard. He did a really good job with his community brigading the fuck out of it though. Even though it's got a lot of comments, it's only got 750 upvotes. I don't even know if it's on the public freakout front page though. It's barely there. Like, yeah, his fans downvoted the fuck out of that. I think it's probably the professor's response here. The public freakout post was directly posted to Hassan's sub, attacking the author as an LSF stan. Oh, when you see shit like this? Oh, here you go. You should report this shit immediately. You should just report it to Reddit. Here you go, have fun. Get the subreddit banned. It's just like flagrant brigading. It's not even like, hey, of these clips, which ones are out of context and don't reflect Hassan's current beliefs, and which ones are takes he's retracted? In general, I like Hassan, but I disagree with him and uncomfortable with some of his messaging on this issue. He didn't get banned for this.
Okay.
Oh, I remember, where he's literally telling his fans to.
Downvote a thread on screen. That's not enough. That's not gonna. They're not gonna fucking say this brigading. Here, I downvoted the Destiny. Go and downvote this fucking dumbass Destiny post. Okay. There it is. Please, bam.
So mad. Can we stop with all the Hassan hate? He incorrectly predicted that Russia wouldn't invade Ukraine. Can we stop saying this? Hassan didn't incorrectly predict that Russia wouldn't invade Ukraine. That's not the problem. That's not what he did. What he did was he said that all of the Russian supposed aggression was Western propaganda. That's what he said. I thought that Russia wouldn't actually invade Ukraine. I said that. I was like, I don't think that. I didn't feel confident in it. That's why I didn't bet on it. I said as much that I didn't feel confident in it. I didn't know 100%. But there's a huge difference. He's like, oh, I don't think they'll invade versus they're not going to invade because all of the aggression is just fake Western propaganda. Like, also, the annexation of Crimea was justified. So maybe the eastern part is too. Like, oh. Almost.
antagonistic than I intended to. I try to.
We're already cap. How can somebody live free of their oppressors if their oppressors don't want to leave? Just ask that question. Wait, if Professor Flowers talks to him, do you think I could talk with Professor Flowers? Give me your Twitter.
At this point, do you know how many times I've rewatched the Professor Flowers debate?
7 times.
Over 6. Because people keep...
Do you think that I could ever use that excuse? Like when these lefties say, like, didn't you say this to me thing? And I'm like, have you watched every single one of my videos? Have you seen every Destiny video?
Wait, no, you.
All right, good luck. Biden to unfree. Yes, we saw that. Okay, chill. Prepare for Noah to become more spineless than Lance ever was. Is that possible?
You. I'm not here to convince you or your audience that, like.
Wait, Noah.
If you're just.
Noah,
Yeah.
you are currently the one with nothing in your hands, arguing against evidence that hundreds of thousands of people have seen, in which she unambiguously as...
What's your workout split looking like?
Well, on Mondays I fuck your mom. On Wednesdays I fuck Luton's mom, and then on Friday I fuck them both at the same time. Sometimes for a deload. I was gonna say I fuck your sister, but she might be underage, so never mind. I fuck your mom again.
directly as you can said the thing you won't accept. The only thing that I can assume this is you understand that if you fall on this point, you fall on the next one.
Based, Vouch. Vouch, that was so based! Based! Bat chest! Any other bat chesters?
Okay, first off, I just want to preface this by saying, I was watching a bit of the stream, and I think I definitely came off much more antagonistic than I intended to. I tried to.
We're already capped. Why would he agree to do this talk? My biggest criticism of Noah, we'll see if I maintain this in the video. My biggest criticism of Noah is, why would you agree to do this talk? Why would you agree to do this? This is why, be a video essayist and write your video essay and then don't ever talk about it to anybody. That would probably be the best bet. Because holy fuck, when we start off with like, I didn't know, I didn't want to come off that, I didn't want to come off that mean. I feel like we're already in really bad territory, but we'll see.
Sprinkle,
because I'm putting 100%
sort of my deferential ideas about debate streaming throughout the video. Earlier on there was more, but I didn't also apply that for a lot of the analysis. So I just want to, I guess upfront say,
sorry.
The claim that don't watch debate streams is I probably don't stand by that as a whole. That's just basically how I articulated. No, it was a long video to write, so a lot of things said, but mainly I am coming here not in a manner that is to antagonize, although I think a lot of the claims we can go over, things you disagree with, but if that, is worth mentioning, I guess.
Oh, no, I'm happy to talk about it. So normally I like to know who everyone comes into a discussion with disagreements, and I have a feeling about you. So I'll say what I think happened. And I can't know that I'm right. I have no way of ever knowing that I'm right. You could never confirm in a way that would, satisfy me. But the impression that I got is that you are a very empathetic person. You have strong concerns for the well-being of groups whose well-being is not generally taken into account. And when you got involved in the online left, you liked a great many people, one of whom was me, because I am entertaining or whatever reason you did. But I am broadly very unpopular, and you
salient mode activated. True.
You had a very diverse audience when you got started, not an audience with an immediate overlap with mine, because there are people who create new channels or streams that do have just by default an overlap with my audience, just because of the type of content they produce. The way you produce your content, I think, encourages a much greater degree of investment from a broader group, which is great. But that broader group doesn't like me. So you became subjected immediately to criticisms for your perceived association with or approval of me. You made a subsequent video in which you pulled away from some of the more open endorsements of myself, and
Well,
in
real
the
quick, can I
subsequent-
mention, so in that, like, so in my follow video, yeah, I basically, I remember the quote that was used a bunch was, I was like, Vosh is good, actually. That was what I said in the initial video, right? And then in the follow-up video, well, so one of the things I remember that caused me to do that was one of the claims that I said when discussing you in the initial video was that you had been banned from Twitch for saying fuck Israel. That was like my claim about why you had been banned. And essentially that was what you'd said, but the actual clip, you had said there would be more peace in the Middle East if Israel was wiped off the map with a nuke, which you did say. Yeah, glass. There you go. So, and so me presenting that as you saying fuck Israel was dishonest, as in, and the reason I did that was I had seen a video where you were talking about that specific, you were addressing that allegation, and you explained it in that way. You said, I said like, they don't like me because I said fuck Israel, essentially. And I could go back and like double check if that's the case. But essentially, I took that claim and repeated it. And then when people brought that clip to my attention, it was things of that nature where, because I made a huge video where I was promoting like fucking, 60 people, I didn't take that into account. And so in following up, like I mentioned, I didn't really spend a lot of time on that follow-up video in articulating, but it was things like that where, like, I think accuracy is important. And so just following up by saying, like, don't take anything at face value, which also applies to video essayists. That's the reason why because again, it's like, I agree with the sentiment that Israel is a very bad force in the Middle East and does cause insane pain to all around them or whatever. But like the way you put it, I took issue with. So it was things like that that basically caused that. It wasn't a retraction. Again, I think people, I see this from people in your audience, and I don't know if this is the case for you, but I could see like viewing things from an antagonistic lens where people either support you or they don't. And that's not like what I'm about. I don't like uncritically support anyone. I just want to point out things where I get things wrong.
I
if that makes
understand,
sense.
and it does. Obviously, if I were to detail in a full account every bad thing I've ever said on this platform, I wouldn't have room to breathe. So, the impression people are going to take from any element of my content as opposed to its full, thousands of hours, it's always going to vary. It's not the issue at hand. But I know the online left, and I also know what was going on in the comments of your initial video, as well as adjacent Twitter discourse, and also based on the way you framed things in your follow-up video. That may have been what prompted a correction, but you did get pushback because of me, and not the Israel thing either, because people on the left don't give a shit about that. They never give me shit for that. True. It was everything else. And I know this. This isn't an accusation towards you, but you were probably provided a superfluous amount of evidence to the effect that I am a horrible human. And a lot of it, I imagine you looked at and you thought, okay, well, this is maybe a bit over the top. Maybe this is a bit out of context. But you were provided a lot of it. And I think that in the subsequent months, you have walked a very fine line. And it's a line that I don't think I'm physiologically capable of walking. You've been talking to me in DMs and have been friendly and engaged and perfectly pleasant to talk to. But in a broader sense, I feel like you have been exposed to an overwhelming confluence of arguments against me. And where you are right now is in a position where you can make an hour-long, 20-minute long.
I just want to say, I think it's really funny that I've probably talked to a dozen, 2 dozen maybe, like PhDs on my stream before. We've talked to a lot of like really educated people, or people working on PhD theses. I don't think I've ever talked to a person that uses as much vocabulary as Vosh does, ever. No educator. That's very funny to me. But just, it's not like a dig at his arguments, technically. I mean, you can talk this way, it doesn't make your arguments right or wrong, but...
Video, which is mostly about me, which ends with you answering the question as to whether or not I'm racist with a, does it matter he's still doing the thing which enables white supremacy, and still talk to me in what I perceive to be an empathetic sense. I have no idea what pathological desire to make people happy and minimize harm must motivate this line that you've walked. It is incredible. I don't know how you've done it. If it was anyone else, this would be blood sports already because of the stuff that you said about me. But you are so obviously motivated by a desire to minimize harm as opposed to smear for clout, which a lot of people do, that I'm willing to have this conversation in a neutral enough tone. I'm not perfect. In spite of all of that.
Jesus.
So that's how I think you're coming into this from. You probably recognize or think of me as a person with a list of virtues and a number of vices, one of which is no doubt arrogance, and that's what's kept me from becoming aware of the many failings that I have and the harm that I cause other people. And I sincerely believe you want me to get better.
Bravo!
And that this isn't some roundabout way
I believe this is called a soliloquy.
attacking me through the, you know, the perception of critique. That's a big thing on YouTube, right? The whole, oh, I'm not attacking you, I'm criticizing you, and if you don't like this criticism, that's your fault because you're being
What does use as much vocabulary mean? What I mean to imply is that Vosh has an acute predilection to utilize like when you could say something simple, small word better than big word is what I'm saying. Like I think that there is a talent to being able to convey complicated ideas with a great degree of brevity and verbosity. I think it's a word. Typically, I think just makes your point look worse every time. Like I have a lot of respect for somebody that can take a very complicated idea and make it very simple. I think that's really cool. And then things become more intuitive, everybody can understand, everybody's on the same page, rather than like unnecessarily gatekeeping with your vocabulary, which is kind of what it feels like sometimes. Or it's like, I need to make you think I'm really smart, not because the ideas that I'm conveying are profound, or not because I have a deeper, good understanding of something. Is that a bug? But because I'm using really big words. I mean, that's just my approach to it. Fuck it.
receptive. Usually it's just an optical ploy. I don't think you're doing that. So let's talk then. And I apologize for the preamble, but I know people in my audience are going to expect more vitriol from me. And I wanted to explain, if to no one else, to them, why I don't feel the need to do that.
Jesus.
Yeah, I think that sums it up. I would just add, sorry, I completely forgot what I was about to say. Give me 3 seconds to think.
Not at all.
Write it down. Why does every streamer have these big glass
my goal
or
being
big
empty.
water
So-
things? What the
or my
fuck?
sort of motivation being empty. And I think that the reason I've tried to sort of toe that line is because I do believe a lot of what you do is really good. And this is a point I didn't, really flesh out in the video very much at all. But in terms of as a force of content, like most of what I said in the original video, I still stand by. But you're right.
Wait, are you
that,
leaving?
Like having so much talked about. And
Wait,
how
what?
so many.
Oh, okay. You don't want to go to the gym with me tonight. Okay, that's fine. You don't want to go to the gym with me tonight. That's okay. Fine.
Things offloaded onto you at once creates this overwhelming pressure of like, okay, how do I address these things that I do see that I take issues with? Like, we can talk about the Professor Flower stuff. I take issue with a lot of that, and I disagree with a lot of it. These
I don't know if it's everybody, but when I eat like a bunch of fucking trash, like pizza, whatever shit, if I wait like 2 or 3 hours, I feel like a fucking monster. I feel very strong, but that's just me. I don't know.
Characterizations. How do I take that in stride and say, like the comment you mentioned where I said, like, is he a racist, yes or no? I mean, white supremacy operates at different levels, and me, that question isn't meant to, like, I guess, okay, it could be seen as an inference that you are a racist guy, but it's like, these things are more complicated than yes or no, and that's the point I'm trying to make there. But I mean, we can go through the video or whatever, but at the end of the day, it is just from a pure standpoint of trying to improve the space, and whether or not that means whatever that entails, that's my primary goal. So just to kind of add on to what you said, but go ahead.
It's also something that I want, as much fun as it is to argue with people like Professor Flowers, though keep in mind, like, I never expect these conversations to blow up the way they do. usually ready for an amicable conversation. The drive behind all of it is that I want to make the online left better. I think the online left is driven in large part by an unwillingness to engage in and be receptive towards conflict, and also by a kind of ideological weakness, an inability to reconcile their perspectives with outside criticisms, a desire to turn inward. The right doesn't have this issue because being wrong doesn't stop them, and they're not concerned with being consistent from point to point. You know, they can. It's like a it's like a Tolkien's orcs, right? You know, you don't need to have proper plumbing infrastructure built in their towns. They don't give a fuck. It's not necessary for their stability. We, on the other hand, unfortunately, are bound by some constraints. The benefits that we have, of course, is that we're right. That's a pretty big one. But in terms of the downsides, there is a lot of echo chambering. I think, for the most part, when I have these conversations with people like Professor Flowers, I'm always hoping that they'll have a come to Jesus moment, that, you know,
they realize I'm right about it.
They'll reflect on their wrongdoing and they'll arrive at some understanding. Exactly, they don't have to like me. Yeah, I know you exhale,
what
but
was the wrongdoing in that regard? The wrongdoing of the claim that about white racial essentialization, or in that specific case, I'm curious.
She made a few mistakes. Though keep in mind, your whole video is an attempt to instill, sort of by proxy, a come to Jesus in me. Obviously, your video was directed at people who are watching the video. It's not a claim made directly at me, but that is the goal, then, as you acknowledge the belief that people can change. And I imagine it must come across as incredibly conceited for me to say, you know, oh, look at these 48 people, minorities on the left who disagree with me. I can't wait for them all to shape up. But, you know, stranger things have happened. That's why I like to take it point by point. With Professor Flowers, the essentialization thing in particular was pretty bad. Likewise, she was giving leeway to ethnic cleansing. Now, you know, if she had just acknowledged that, we could have argued about how, you know, sometimes in times of great need, you know, you might be able to justify this, that, the other. But she wouldn't own up to it, which is really frustrating.
I think, like, that's where I disagree, is that, you know, it's sprinkled throughout that conversation where she said that that's not something that people are considering. But the question that was being posed by you was, you know, if they did this, if they decided to do this, what would you say to that? And it's not that.
Wait, is Twitter like going crazy right now, or what's? Oh, okay, never mind. Somebody's saying something.
Question is the wrong question to ask. It's that she at no point suggested that was going to happen, and that was something that was happen. And to view the idea, the simple claim, like the simple claim of colonized people should be able to decide. It's not about whether or not it's moral or ethical to make the decision to kill their oppressors. That type of extreme is the problem, because it is a very kind of baseline claim about autonomy that I don't think you disagree with, but I think in your pursuit of, I don't really know, I guess for you it is to nail down the ethical, what's the word? To nail.
The people of South Africa should be able to shoot their homosexuals and bury them in.
I know, I've heard this argument. No, that's again, that doesn't apply to what I'm saying here.
Wait, hold on. You're making the autonomy argument. Now, I recognize that an autonomous nation state will have the ability to commit ethnic cleansing, but in practice, we never ever talk about the right to do a thing in the context of whether they have the national sovereignty to do so. A nation with autonomy will be able to. That's a thing they can do as a product of national autonomy. But no leftist in the right mind would go, well, I do think actually that America should have the right to like all their gay people, because, you know, America's a sovereign nation and that's part of a sovereign nation. Like, we wouldn't talk about it that way. The issue I have is Professor Flowers was saying that colonized people, by which she meant black people, should have the right to decide whether to live with their oppressors. And given it was the context of South Africa, that would be white people. And in following qualifications, you know, she's essentially said that what I'm about to infer is correct, but when you're talking about choosing to live with in the context of a nation state, we're talking about group or deporting them, and either meet the definition of an.
Whoa.
Yeah, again, I just disagree that at the level of conversation that was being had, that was something that was even a part of, like, I mean, again, so this is conversation at two different levels, right? In debate, you are pushing to the limits to test, like, what this all means, what is the implication of what she's saying here. But I don't think that, like, your insinuation of this, again, like, you can go throughout the thing, there's no point, there are multiple points where she says that, you know, this is not something that people want to do, this is not something that people are planning on doing. But so this continued characterization that
I think
her ethical system, you think that Professor Flower wants to.
I think that Professor Flowers is a believer in a system by which you can justify ethnic against white people. I don't think the people in South Africa want it. Well, I'm sure some do. There are millions of people there, but I don't think this is like an issue with indigenous communities. I don't believe in the fear of retribution. I think that overwhelmingly any indigenous community is just going to want to reestablish some sort of presence on their land, some political and economic autonomy. Varies, of course, depending on where you are. But this is leeway I don't think you or anyone would give anyone else. The right to decide. Now, it's true she said, I don't want genocide, I don't want this, I don't want that, but I've argued with a lot of right-leaning people
Say the
who
same
will
thing.
shy away from the term we have for bad things, but then justify the bad things through other terminology. It's really common, and it's why they get mad at me for asking them qualifying questions, because they feel like I'm trying to trick them into defending, say, for example, the ethnic of Latin Americans who come up from the border, when that's explicitly what they want, but they don't like the term ethnic. They don't like it because light's being shown on positions they'd rather leave to implication. In Professor Flowers' case, it wasn't very implicit. It was pretty explicit. And I feel like we can acknowledge that Professor Flowers indeed endorsed, or at the very least held water for ethnic without sacrificing any real talking points concerning decolonization. Because that's not decolonization. That's like very, very out there. You know, it's not, that doesn't have anything to do with the actual, like, political, you know, talking points, right?
Yeah, so I just disagree with that claim that is what, like, the ideology. And again, like, so I've watched all of her videos and the full debate. I've watched everything multiple times, and I don't see how anyone would come to that conclusion. I think what's being valued here is the moments in the debate where, you know, you got that impression.
Why not just ask I don't know if Vosh will get this. Why not just ask this question, okay? Hold on. How can somebody live free of their oppressors if their oppressors don't want to leave? Just ask that question. Fuck it. And then we'll see what the answer is. Because that's the same issue that I always get into with, like, white nationalists who will say, like, oh, but we support, like, the peaceful deportation of all people of color. Okay, well, what if they don't want to be peacefully deported? Eventually, push comes to shove, all right? We're going to need, like, a rumbling or a euthanasia or whatever. Something's going to have to happen to get rid of all these people, right?
But I don't think that's what she was ever saying. And I think even to, like, again, I see the perspective of, you are trying to, like, again, it's like an optical thing. It's right, like, Republican fear-mongering of CRT is where black people want to kill everybody, so I'm trying to investigate that claim. But again, that, like, I think you came in with that framing, or with that, not intent, but you were primed to interpret what she was saying in that manner, and so many other people interpreted in a totally different way, in a way that I find correct, which is that, you know, these types of things can't be compared. Like, decolonization and Nazism can't be compared. There's no point of comparison. And even to, like, make that equivocation, again, like you're saying, like,
well, but then you got to say why. You can't just, like, you can't do that. You can't compare them. That's not like, that's such a bat chest argument. He's like, these aren't comparable. Well, why not? Okay, well, what's not comparable? You should be able to explain why not then, right?
Right-wingers say these things. They come in, they try and, like, hide their intentions. I think you viewed and sometimes do view these conversations as a one-to-one comparison.
Oh,
in
I get it,
rhetoric,
Anthony.
but it's
Never
not
mind.
the case when there's
Fuck you.
more history and there's more like with regards to what these claims actually mean, and with regards to what acknowledging the claim that historical oppression is different in a very serious manner from white people to black people.
We're talking about different points. I have never, at any point on my platform, said that the harm done along both these lines is equatable in both directions. This is something
Right,
that
I
other
know you
people.
have.
Right. So here I'll ask you: do you think the black Israelites are a little bit like Muslims?
I literally don't know, like, again, little bit in what way? Like,
Luis Farrakhan, are you more familiar with his political
yeah,
prescriptions?
yeah.
Right. Once an ethno-state, hates Jews, homosexuals, believes that his race is the master race, that he has, an ancestral genetic connection to essentially a superior group of people.
I see the comparison. I see the comparison you're making. And I in the context of the conversation you had, I don't see how that could be justified.
The critical
Again, like,
difference
you're
here-
making a comparison between things that they're just different. Like, they're just different things, and I don't.
They are different. That's what a comparison is. A comparison takes two different things and it compares them. That's why it's called a comparison. Why do people keep saying this? Bro, you can't compare those two things. They're different. If they were the same, then I wouldn't have anything to compare. It would just be... Oh, fuck. Why, how are these guys, like, in their fucking base all day? Oh my god, dude. This mushroom shit is so fucking AIDS. Cake, I need you to delete the files with this stupid... Oh, did I just get stuck? Does this thing need fuel to run? Stop eating berries, they don't give health. Yeah, I noticed that. The easiest way to get health and food is usually just picking a fuck ton of mushrooms, though, without having to, like, cook food. It does need fuel. You know what? I got fuel.
Have to be made between different things. The point is to illustrate similarities.
True.
So with Luis Farrakhan, I have noted, of course, the fact that he is not white, and therefore his ideology is not identical to those of Nazis. But it is essentially Blotzy ideology, black Nazi ideology. It's very
that a Vosh
similar.
term?
They clearly crib notes. And I think that it's fair to make that comparison, even though the Nazis, of course, were a monstrous political machine that killed tens of millions and continue to this day in their subsequent forms hurt people. Whereas the Luis Farrakhan black Israelite type, I mean, it's not good, but it's much less of a problem. But the comparison illustrates similarities. So the similarity I was trying to draw upon with Professor Flowers was A, the use of perceived victimhood as an excuse to justify retaliatory violence against a racial group, and B, the essentialization of behavior from people in a racial group to the race in its entirety. Because both of those were necessary for non-ideology. It's not sufficient, this was one of the things that I had with non-compete as well. You don't just need certain sets of facts in order to be a Nazi. You could believe all the propaganda the Nazis believed and still not be a Nazi, because you can derive better moral positions from that misinformation you've been given. But if you're capable of racial essentialization, which Professor Flowers and you
breaking these barrels?
do, you have the ability then to extrapolate much greater kinds of harm, because now, you can reduce. This group of people did this thing. Well, now this entire race is on the bill. White people were colonizers in South Africa hundreds of years ago, and, very complicated history up to this point. Well, now all the millions of white people in South Africa are colonizers, which I thought as a term referred to, like, people engaging in the process, homesteading, soldiers, farmers brought from, Netherlands, whatever, like an active thing. But if we're just using it to refer to any group of people who complicit in the exploitation of others, Professor Flowers would be a colonizer, because we colonized America from the Native Americans, a group to which she does not belong. She may not be the predominant power.
Oh my God, the monologue.
She sure as shit is not indigenous. This is very reductive logic. It doesn't serve any purpose other than to give people a framework from which to attack racial groups they don't like, which is why I think it's really important to fight back against it. That was the comparison I drew.
Jesus.
Okay, so I guess to that I would just say, you called it reductive to call white people in South Africa colonizers, and I think that's fair. And like the actual utility of that, what does that bring? Not much. But also, I don't think that really it doesn't strike to the heart of, or that doesn't really address what colonization is, and to sort of fixate on that aspect of using that term in a way, which I don't think she ever, again, I don't think like there were these prescriptive claims that you've drawn out from that conversation that said that this stuff was like okay, or that it was something that is encouraged. It's just a simple case of like colonization primarily happened from Europe, primarily obviously in South Africa. The South Africans there are descendants, a lot of them, and I don't think like I think the conversation about what colonization is missed when the steps are taken forward into, well, using that rhetoric is, you know, shaky because it leads to potentially justifying XYZ. I think that conversation before is more important, but again, it's not to say the conversation after shouldn't happen, but I think that conversation before, you know, I find to be the more important one, and I find that it is missed when—
Who's been the most batshit? I don't know. This is really boring. I don't know what we're doing right now. I don't know where we're—
The claims are pursued about, you know, ethnic. What does this mean if you're calling white people colonizers and you can kick them out? It means you can kill them all. It's like that's not what's being talked about.
Well,
But
one step always leads to the next, right? I mean, for example,
it's kind of like a slippery slope thing, right? In terms of like, if it depends on what level you're having the conversation, right? Like if you're talking about, if you're having like a philosophical conversation about what all of this means for the future, then yes, you could talk about it at that level, but I don't think that's what she was saying. And again, this kind of sounds like we're just going over this conversation in a manner that like it's already been gone over. But
right.
Do you see what I'm saying in that regard? Like in terms of where the conversation is missed.
Look, I don't have an issue with people jokingly calling whites colonizers or whatever, but when it's being done in the context of a discussion about state power being used to displace millions of people, we're very clearly tying this to systems through which real harm can be done. Like, I can give you another example. What does a gangbanger look like? In your head, just picture something. If you were to take
what's going on? What are we doing
nothing that you don't disagree with. Have you ever watched Fox News?
I've seen it. Yeah.
Have you ever?
Every night, actually.
Oh, there you go. Have you ever, while spending time online, been assailed with any crime statistics in relationship to race? I know I did.
So
Stormfront used to.
1350.
Oh, right, the whole thing. Right. Yeah. No, wait. I don't know. We sigh like I'm not on your side on this one. Do you know how many debates I've had where I argue that there's no inherent difference between people of any racial group? This is all treading ground. I'm making sure we have the same basic framework here. The issue is, if you were to take that information and then to say, you know, in the essential sense, what does a gang member in the United States look like? A lot of people, based either on their biases or on data that you could draw, they would come up with a person of color. And the issue, of course, isn't acknowledging the idea that there are disproportionate trends, how oppression relates to race, and how race relates to crime and oppression, and how income relates to all of these things. Acknowledging them is just part of getting a sociology degree. But, of course, if your logic is as simple as this group mostly does X, therefore it's okay to say this group is this thing, that's how you get all of the essentialist logic that racists have been using since essentially the drug war to frame black people's disproportionate criminality as some kind of essentialist problem, as opposed to what it actually is, which is a deliberate product of government failing them and putting them in situations where there was essentially no economic opportunity. The essentialism was what led to the issue there. And you can acknowledge stuff like, you know, white people have been colonizers throughout history, or at least the past couple, like 500 years or so. Yeah, of course. But we are talking about using state power to remove people from the country. If you have an alternate explanation for the line there, colonizers should have a right.
All right, back to your regular list.
The colonized should have a right to decide whether or not they want to live with their oppressors. Can you explain that line to me in a way that isn't ethnic, given she has explicitly said her definition of colonizer is white person? She said that with me and also with you.
I don't think I disagree with that claim. That her claim is that colonizers equals white person. I don't think
explicitly said that with me. It's not inference. She has said that.
I've seen the human debate. I've seen the full debate. That's not the claim, and that's not. Again, it depends on where and what you're talking about. But
she's tweeted
to draw this.
And you said it in your video. You said it in your video. You said you did the thing. It was like a big beam. You were like, he criticizes her for saying this is an essentialist thing for white people, and then you're like, well, isn't it kind of? And then
true.
This is wait. For both of our sakes, unless you want to get assailed with clips proving you're wrong, accept this point and move forward. Upon the presumption that she believes white people equals colonizer, how do you frame what she said? What would it take to convince you?
We're talking about, like, I've looked through it all. I flatly disagree, and this is why I don't think we're gonna find agreement. It's this type of like one step leads to the next step leads to the next step. What the net result of that is online is people tweeting at her, calling her pro-genocide, and that's not, like, again, this is objectively not what she was ever saying. This is not what she was saying, and like, I know you.
Well, thanks, Lewis.
You got that impression from the debate and the debate that you watched.
I think, Lewis, the two biggest issues when it comes to talking about business owners in the United States is a fundamental misunderstanding of how businesses operate, and it's a fundamental misunderstanding of what a business owner looks like. I think the problem is, one, people think that business just sit on huge piles of cash all the time, and then when they're feeling nice, they'll like give it to employees. But otherwise, business owners are just greedy, hoarding entities that have independent amounts of revenue. Their profit margins are like 70% probably on every product, right? Oh, there was a really good, it might have been an NBER poll or survey. There was a study where it's like, if you ask the average American, like, what do you think the profit margin of a business is? They always get it like 4 or 5 times higher than what it actually is. Like, I think the average American thinks the profit margin of a business is like 35, 40% or something. That's the first huge misunderstanding. That, like, businesses aren't like massively profitable entities that just sit on all these piles of money. And then the second thing is that the average business owner in the United States is probably a guy that makes anywhere from 50 to 150,000 a year, and he probably works like 80 to 100 hours a week if you're a small business owner. People think that when they think like business owner, they think, oh, like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, right? When the reality is that not only does a small business owner probably know every single job in his particular small business, he probably works like 1 or 2 or 3 of them so that he doesn't have to hire another employee because he doesn't have the money to do it. But yeah, I don't know, it's just stupid. Okay, sorry, back to the bat chest.
With him, and you could pull up clips and tweets or whatever, but like this is just I don't see this going anywhere, because I think, like,
are you capable of being moved on this position? Because it seems like you're actually the one with the preconception that you're not allowing to be moved by evidence.
No, well, what evidence is that you're telling me what she said here? Like, I've seen the whole thing. It's not gonna, like, you saying that she said this here and there.
I didn't say she said it.
No, I'm saying, like, you right now telling me that she said this.
One moment.
And you can pull up the tweet about white people being colonizers or whatever.
Colonialism.
Like
that structure was
that's
literally created to benefit the white people who are colonizing it. It's not out of character.
The logical thought then leads to,
a misrepresentation to say that this is an issue of white people colonizing people, and I can't believe this whole debate.
People getting mad at her for calling white people colonizer or whatever, or equivocating white people with colonizer. Again, it's like the history of colonization is pretty like simplistic in that regard, and that doesn't mean like I'm saying it's okay. I'm just saying, like, I don't like this continued comparison and characterization, and this is why I don't think like we're gonna. I just fundamentally disagree. And
just a moment. Just one moment.
It's like such tough questions to ask, right?
I think it's like white.
Oh, your video. Oh, you're back. Sorry.
I think it's like white,
again, like
passing.
you can pull up
It's like if you
whatever
can get like the full
clips you
benefits
feel
of white
present that,
supremacy
but
and not have to face
if
the
you
impressions of white
watch her
supremacy.
videos,
For me, that's when I feel like
listen to her.
you know,
That's not what she was saying. And
No, just one
yeah,
moment, please.
if you're looking for clips, it's fine.
We're not looking at this.
Wait, what do you I don't see that as an academic term. I just say that like you're benefiting off of colonialism. That's what I mean by that. And maybe I should use something else because it's very confusing to people. But at the same time, I'm not really interested in. I'm not really interested in like breaking it down.
Don't you?
Either.
Sure. Don't you? Haven't you? And again, I don't know what your upbringing is like or whatever, but I know that
Wait, if Professor Flowers talks to him, do you think I could talk to Professor Flowers? Give me your Twitter. We can bridge the gap. Is she actually a professor, or is that just like her online name? This is her. She dipped from the heme debate. I don't want to have a debate. I just want to have a discussion. Isn't that what we're supposed to say when we want to be non-confrontation? Oh shit, she already has me blocked on Twitter. Okay, never mind. Okay, I'll do this. We'll see if we get any traction. Boom.
When she tweeted, you literally equated colonizer with white in multiple streams. This is genuinely so funny to me that you want me to be ashamed about this. How am I meant to take this apart from she uses them interchangeably, along with the multiple clips of her using them interchangeably, and then when asked to clarify, saying that, yeah, she thinks they're, like, the same.
I look, you can like pull a tweet that says that, and you can pull clips that allude to, again, a complex conversation about race, whiteness, and colonization.
Can you find any
and
evidence of her saying that it's not, that this isn't a synchronous?
I mean, have you like watched all of her videos back? I don't.
Have you watched? It's the Jordan Peterson defense. Have you watched? watched every single video? Like, Jesus Christ. Do you think that I could ever use that excuse? Like, when these lefties say, like, didn't you say this to me thing? And I'm like, have you watched every single one of my videos? Have you seen every Destiny video? Is it really fair for you to say that you haven't watched every single one of my videos? Bro, I would get fucking crucified if I were to ever use an excuse like that. Have you seen all of my videos?
Not sure if you have.
No, I don't think she's very smart.
Okay, well then this is just a waste of time, like to try to convince you. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to convince you or your audience that, like,
Noah.
If you're just
Noah. You are currently the one with nothing in your hands, arguing against evidence that hundreds of thousands of people have seen.
Say
in
millions.
Which she unambiguously, as directly as you can, said the thing you won't accept. The only thing that I can assume this is,
one,
apart from maybe you two are like secret best buddies or something, and it's like a personal thing, is you understand that if you fall on this point, you fall on the next one. I am, because this is an enormous waste of time, just going to rip the L from your hands.
Rip the L from his hands.
She said what she said. She thinks white people are colonizers. If you are, with respect, too spineless to own up to the fact that she clearly
dude, this is
like
Vosh bringing out the big debate, bro.
This is the problem I have. I get framed as a bully when a person is behind me screaming and dancing a point, and I point at it and say, "That's fucked," and then people tell me that it's not even there. It is insane. In this respect, you know, we can move forward. You can say, "I don't care." You know what? Maybe Professor Flowers is a genocide or whatever, like an ethnic supporter. If she had owned it, I wouldn't have cared so much. The thing that bothers me is when I have to run this dishonesty cycle where people gaslight the shit out of me. At this point, do you know how many times I've rewatched the Professor Flowers debate?
7 times.
Over 6. Because people keep talking about some other second debate that never happened.
That's a fucking lie, but that's still funny.
Apparently I was a part of. I am told that I said racist stuff, and I look back and no, and I'm told that she said this thing that owned me, and I look back and no. I keep going it over and over, and it legitimately fucks with me. Because all the things I thought I said happened. And all the things I thought she said happened. Every time. But people don't want to believe that. Because it would be big bad Vosh. You know, the narrative crumbles. If they were lying. If I was right. We never can overcome this. If this is the standard of evidence that I have to provide, I assume brainwaves from her to you to convey the fact that she doesn't think of this as some kind of essentialist thing. You know,
brainwaves.
I can't meet that evidence, but if you want to provide, then I ask you, when she talked about the right to live away from your oppressors, who was she referring to? In South Africa,
Jesus.
We'll ignore what she said because she said white people, so we'll invalidate her.
This is where like I think this conversation isn't going to glean anything more, because you are asking to use these claims that, again, I just fundamentally disagree in the debate with these claims that you're pulling from them, that she somehow promoted genocide against white people by the colonized, when her point was just that autonomy should be granted. It shouldn't be conditional. And like, look,
Nobody said otherwise. But you can believe that you should give autonomy to people, but then also say you shouldn't do ethnic. Those are the fact that there's been an effort.
And that's
to
what she said,
those
dude. That's
points.
what that's literally what she said in
Well,
her videos and multiple times in the debate.
She did say she doesn't like ethnic, but, and I can tell because I've debated a lot of conservatives, they often lie or misrepresent their own positions as a way of avoiding the most severe condemnations they could possibly receive if they were forthcoming. How many conservatives have I talked to who clearly fucking hate Martin Luther King, but can't own up to it because he's a national hero? How many convos have I had where they clearly just don't want gay people to exist or trans people to exist, but it's always being framed as some like, well, let's wait on the science thing? If you think dishonesty is exclusively a conservative point of contention, then, well, it's just a thing people can do. With her, with Professor Flowers, we can move on if you like. Lord knows there's more to talk about. But
Lord knows.
In this specific respect, I do not feel like I am engaging in motivated reasoning. said, I was about to say all but said, but she actually said, colonizers are white people are colonizers. So the essentialist tie has been drawn. Nobody here was talking about denying South African black people autonomy. Nobody ever said that. I certainly never said that. I just don't think you should be able to displace broader racial groups.
And again, she doesn't think that either. So if you disagree with that point, that's fine. But we should just move on, because that's not the content of her statements. Like, you can extrapolate it through tweets and like
I feel like you have to
clips from debate.
extrapolate though. Like you're the one who actually has to do like the decoding to arrive at your more charitable interpretation.
By like watching her videos and listening to what she's saying, if that's what decoding and extrapolating is, then yeah, I mean that's
watch
I
all
think
of our
everyone
videos,
should do
Mosh.
that. But
Just
again,
watch
I
all
don't
of them.
think that you have honestly engaged with this issue in that regard.
Do you think
so? Like, we can just
Tucker Carlson
we should just
is
move
a white
on,
nationalist by chance?
dude. Like, this is the type of stuff. Like,
Just answer the question. Yeah, just answer the fucking question.
I mean, yeah, of course. So what?
I've watched his content.
He
You know,
never
he never
says that.
self-refers as one.
Never.
All right, so
I don't even know if Tucker Carlson ever
By
uses. Does he talk about white people, or does he just talk about traditional Western values? Does Tucker Carlson ever explicitly refer to like the need to protect white people, or is it just traditional Americans or Western Americans or Western culture or American culture, or the proud traditional like I maybe he has and I just haven't seen it, but like.
What process could you infer that he is a white nationalist without him actually saying that he is one?
So you're saying that the rhetoric is conducive to...
I'm asking you a question
Yeah,
about how you could infer that assumption. I believe he's a white nationalist, but he's never said it. So how would you...
I think looking at... So I understand what Vosh is trying to do. Because I think this is what I would try to do in a conversation. Okay, you're saying Professor Flowers isn't a separatist or whatever, or isn't advocating, or could be advocating for genocide because she hasn't explicitly said it. Well, let's run this. Hold on. Same thought process down with another.
By what process would you arrive at that conclusion?
I mean, like the rhetoric he uses, right? Like the
rhetoric
white
he
genocide
uses?
rhetoric, right? So going on and talking about fear mongering about white people being replaced. And so I'm not saying you can't infer what people say from the rhetoric they use. I'm saying if you are inferring from the rhetoric someone uses in a debate that was obviously not a productive source of information, and you're ignoring the plethora of evidence and information given in her videos, then that's just dishonest, and that's not actually if
would it be
I
dishonest
don't even know
to ignore the times when Tucker Carlson has said he's not racist? I'm sure he said that quite a few times, right? He's had a long career.
So Professor Flowers' videos were her saying she's not racist?
Well, Professor Flowers has talked about how she doesn't believe in genocide or ethnic cleansing, but the things she said were advocacies for genocide or ethnic
I think, and I could be wrong, but when Noah is giving these exasperated sighs, he's trying to make it sound like, oh, this is so ridiculous. We shouldn't deal with it. But I don't think that's what it is. I think it's actually frustration because he realizes he's absolutely dead wrong on the point. I think that's what's happening. He's like, fuck me, dude. Like, I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to move on. I think that the rhetorically, it's trying to give the appearance of like, come on, this is so stupid, Vosh. But what's actually happening is there's a deep sense of frustration because he knows he's like totally incorrect. He's just making an absurd argument. That if I don't have a video with Professor Flowers saying, I hate white people and I kill them all, well, if you can't find that, you can't say she advocates for any type of genocide. Good job. Dino's killing frogs. That's what I like to see.
Take careful steps.
You're doing God's work. Keep it up. Good job, Dino.
cleansing. I think I've even seen a video of her on the Cope stream after the non-compete thing, where she essentially said that like she didn't think it was ethical to move a race of people. I wish I had all these at my disposal, but you know, as you're aware, the editing process can take some time to conjure together. But you know, it's fine. It's fine. There's always other stuff. I have to admit, it does feel a little bit strange that an opposition to ethics is something which seems to get me derision in a space that is ostensibly left-leaning, but that's fine. We disagree in the particulars. So, I have to ask, you know, it's always sort of Professor Flowers wanting to decide. When we talk about, like, harassment from my community, or I guess I should say, what do you imagine could be done to make the online left less vitriolic?
What could be done?
'Cause you talked about a lot of harassment coming from my community. Obviously, I disagree with the severity or even existence of that harassment, but it's possible we have different definitions.
I think a lot of it has to do with the framing of these issues, and so I think a big portion of it is like debate stream and debate streamers, and I mean just live streaming in general is kind of its own ecosystem, it's its own world, and the intermediary from debate streams to, like, let's say just the other side, essayists or what have you, is Twitter, and that's just obviously a problem. That's always going to be a problem. So I think, like, in the case of like the examples I show in my video, I think, like, again, I don't really know what to say, because if these are the characterizations you're okay with making, and if you're okay with people, like you said, being mean to people that disagree with you, which is something that, I mean, that's a claim I'm assuming you stand by.
Of course. God willing. God bless.
Yeah, and look, I guess just like, I don't really know what I'm trying to say. Let me take a step back and think.
An enemy has been slain.
What do you define as harassment, I guess, is what I'm curious about. Because the screenshots that you showed were comments in reply to my videos, for the most part, where people just seemed to think Professor Flowers supported ethnic, which is, as far as I'm concerned, objectively and provably correct. So you can't believe it's harassment to point out bad belief. Like, that would be like saying it's harassment. Your video is harassment against me because you accuse me of engaging in upholding white. Right? Like, at that point, every criticism is harassment.
Yeah. So I guess it's like if a premise, which I believe to be false, and which I think, given the content of what she's done, is, I think, provably false. Again, you say it's provably false because of what she said in the debate. I say it's provably false because of what she said in her videos. That's not going to ever change. But I think, like, the nature of this harassment isn't I don't think it's acknowledged as being. I think there's a difference in the types of harassment that happen. Like, you could say, like, oh, they are harassing for XYZ reason. Like, if there's outright racist vitriol.
I'll be back. Hold on.
Vitriol, which, like you've said, like, when that happens in your community, you ban people, and when people do it, they can do it like Trellic shit. Like, none of that is good. I don't want any of that, but I don't think using that, like, I see what you mean about these things not being, like, one being more important to call out than the other, but I don't think that necessarily, I don't think it follows that means, like, the type of stuff that I'm talking about is necessarily false. Do you know what I mean? I think, like, we can look at things like what happened to Professor Flowers and say, like, that is objectively bad, while also saying we shouldn't, you know, people shouldn't treat you the way they treated you in those examples you just brought up. I think both, they're not the same thing. They're not. I agree. I totally agree. But I'm saying, like, if we're using one of those.
Destiny Vosh, face harassment, and his community calls out about politics.
To just completely, like, ignore the problems in the other, then that's not conducive to, like, an inclusive space.
It would need to be demonstrated that it is indeed a problem. I think it's important, and you do too, judging from the video that you made and I watched, to curtail bad behavior on the left. I mean, what is a video of yours if not...
Did Destiny add a bunch more mods here recently? I don't know where my YouTube mods come from. I don't know who adds them. I don't know if it's August or someone else. They just kind of show up and they do their thing, okay? Be nice to them.
An invitation to your audience to regard with derision people like me. That's not a bad thing, by the way. We all cultivate the garden. There's nothing wrong with that. That's how political and social movements keep things together, you know? But in this case, Professor Flowers is a ludicrously obvious example of a dead branch in terms of what should or should not be allowed into the left. And for the harassment she's received, what people say.
Oh, quick break for almost gym related question. How accurate is Fitbit for determining how many calories you've burned a day? If I weigh 170 pounds on my gym days and on my 10,000 step days, it says I'm burning 2,850 calories a day. Does that sound accurate? Seems a little high, but I have no idea. What do we think, chat? Okay. Sorry, back to this ultra entertaining debate.
That she said the things she said? Do I see death threats? Real harassment threats? Sexist or racist accusations? I'm sure some have happened just as a product of the size
That probably
of our
includes
community,
BMR? Of course it does.
And if bring those screenshots to me, I'll ban those people. But whenever evidence is brought to me, it's just people telling her that she's bad for saying the things that she said directly to me, and then again on Twitter, and then again with him, and then again on other panels, and then again on her own podcast. It's not. What am I to turn a blind eye to this? If we care about introspection, you have to give me more than Professor Flowers didn't say the things she said because she said other things that weren't the things she said. I need more than that. Should I not? Should I take everyone then at their word, every criticism? Mel, the genocider, is this a person for whom I must hold water? Luna Oi, a nationalist? I mean, where does that line stop? It seems to stop a lot farther out with minority groups than it does with white people. It's a concern that I've noticed. And if you I'm sure understand from your presence in the online left that there is often a performative, what would you call it? A performative giving of space to minority groups. Not to say it's not good to do that, but a performative one which is about, virtue signaling, essentially. I think it's an issue because it means those people are being held to a lower standard with regards to the quality of their perspectives, when all of us, of course, should be subject to criticism for the things that we say. And then the blowback.
Think, like, just to speak to that, I agree that like there's a certain degree of performative, like you said, virtue signaling. I remember like during BLM in summer of 2020, I saw like a lot of things that was like sort of empty sort of performative white wokeness. Sure, that's definitely something that happens, but I don't see that as necessitating the completely ignoring the bad things that do happen to racialized creators. And I think like the overstep there, or the what gets missed there, is the things that do happen in subject of, well, like, you know, this person is only defending you. Like, I mean, I showed it in my tweets, like I'm pointing out like things that I feel are objectively bad, and then people are immediately jumping to the claim that, oh, you're only doing this because this is a person of color. And it's like that if that conclusion is being drawn before actually like taking a second to reflect on what is being done that potentially could be perceived as harassment, I take issue with that, and like this framing that, you know, oh, well, minorities on the left are being protected by the, you know, people who have like these white woke fantasies or whatever. Again, we operate in different spaces, so I assume you probably see more of that than I do. I'm sure that's the case, but I do take issue with that being the initial claim on things where people are calling out like things they perceive to be bad behavior against minorities, and then the immediate jump is, well, you're only saying that because they're a person of color. Like, do you see an issue with that at all?
Well, if it was unwarranted, but then why is it that the conversation between myself and Professor Flowers is always supposed to be like a white guy talking down to a black woman? That's how everyone talks about it. Pardon me for my liberal color blindness, but I feel like no matter what a person's race is, they have an ability to speak on an issue with an equal degree of potential quality. And we were both talking about indigenous issues, which neither of us are, so it wasn't even really relevant to that. It seemed odd to me. And I just was framed constantly. You talked about two white guys debating, you know, this, that, the other, white gentry on stream. It's always framed that way. The id poll is always lurking. And I know one of the biggest criticisms that I get, which is part of like a broad package of criticisms, is that I am, and you said this, sort of an archetype of left.
Of being a Destiny comedover and looking so... What are we talking about?
Just a harmless flower.
If Destiny sat on a tan bed for a week into the stream, could you distinguish him from irrelevant? They are both fat, but Booksmarts is fat. Wait, is Irrelevant fat? I thought he was like a slim. What? What does this comment? How does this have 5 upvotes? What is even happening here? What the fuck?
Adjacent white. That my political positions might be progressive. Some people deny even that, but even though they are, I still maintain the chauvinistic perspective of a person who is held by the trappings of white. Now, I don't think my behavior warrants this. I think my skin tone is what warrants it. Because I don't think my behavior corresponds to this assumption at all. And I see all these defenses that get brought out for people who I consider indefensible. I won't speak of Professor Flowers again here, but like, my God. And this isn't the biggest issue in the world, don't get me wrong, but it's certainly worth considering, especially if it's leading us to arrive at really bad results. I don't know what utility we get from Professor Flowers' analysis that I wasn't casually bumping off on my stream before I even knew who she was. But there's a lot of vitriol that she can provide that I can't. I know that much.
I mean, yeah, so to the idea that, like, everyone should be held to the same standard of harassment and vitriol, I totally agree. I can't, like, speak to any of the earlier claims to that, like what you mentioned, but I maintain that, like, the perception of what is and isn't idpol seems to be, like, so kind of embedded to the point where, like I said, that's the first reaction to criticism against people that are, like, perceived to be harming people of color, and that's just what I take issue with.
It's a narrative. I mean, of course, one of the biggest criticisms that I get is, like, I'm a white debate bro, so it's a narrative that's supported by the explicit text of the people I'm accusing of being a part of that narrative. But yeah, of course, we're talking off inference here. I can't open up people's minds and know why they do what they do. I can only notice these patterns. And I think they're unfortunate, too, because sometimes they lead to behavior that I actually do consider to be kind of prejudiced, being couched in woke rhetoric. Like when you referred to the indigenous rights activist I brought on my stream as being there to make me look right. And
so let me clarify there, because I wasn't aware that she had reached out to come onto the stream. I
maybe
guess
that's
I
kind of
assumed
important.
that it was the reverse, that, like, someone from the Discord had brought her on. But the fact, I was definitely, like, off the mark in that, and so that, again, like, my intent there was to say, like, and first I clarified, like, that is an objectively good thing to have happen. That perspective deserves to be there and should always be there. But like, and like, this could be a moot point that you've talked with indigenous activists in the past before, as you showed. I, again, wasn't aware of that because I think you said the video had been privated, the other debate. But
yes.
it just struck me as, like, you could be calling this nitpicking, and that would totally be fine. But it struck me as odd that the immediate response to the Professor Flowers debate was the only time, aside from, you know, the privated video, that an indigenous activist had been brought on.
What do the markets have
and again,
for it?
like, you
I brought Lance on. Lance speaks on indigenous issues quite a lot, disproportionate amount. He cares about them a lot.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's all good. I just wanted to clarify that was definitely not, like, that was an inference that I took that wasn't, like, correct, basically.
I get that. I just feel, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that in the convo that I had with the indigenous rights activists after Professor Flowers, the fact that she had approached me was something which was brought up in the conversation directly. So I can't expect you to watch all of my content. That would be a ridiculous burden of proof.
But he did say for
What's your take on the Senate?
Stop.
Someone asked that. I didn't know if that was a serious talking point. Mel, you're muted.
Yeah, I know. Wait, hold on. Hi.
Hi, what's up?
Nothing. I just haven't been here for a very long time.
Oh, well, what's up?
Nothing. I just finished my stream.
How did it go?
It went okay.
Just okay?
Mm-hmm. We was talking about Swedes and our social stuff. Pretty much.
About your starving friends?
We don't starve our friends. They're just gonna eat home later. They're not starving.
One of them said they stayed the night.
Yeah, if they stay the night, of course they're gonna get food. They're just making that up, okay? I don't understand the Dutch thing though.
Do
where
you
they say
ask?
that- ask what? If they want food?
Yeah. Or is the expectation that like, okay, so here's the thing where I think could like defang the whole argument. Is the societal expectation as a guest, as a Swedish person, that you know you are not going to dinner unless explicitly invited before getting there?
I think, okay, so if there's like a planned thing, if there's a sleepover planned, if there's a dinner planned, of course we will give them food. But if it's spontaneous, so if it's like after school, like...
Then they just have to fucking starve.
No, they don't have to starve. They're just gonna eat home later. Or
Hopefully.
before. Like, that's usually how it goes.
I think culturally that's fine. If people are operating
That's
under
how it
that
goes. It's not like
expectation.
someone is starving. It's not like they're not gonna get food when they get home.
Well, no one thinks that they're starving. It's just more like in America, it's a polite thing. Like if you come over after school and you happen to be there around dinner
I'm gonna
time.
explain this. I'm gonna explain. Okay. This is the polite thing to do in Sweden. And I know it doesn't make sense, but I will try to explain it, okay? Okay. So, in Sweden, it's polite to never, like, get involved with someone, okay? So, if you have a kid, and that kid has a friend, you don't really want to talk to that kid's parents, because you don't want to get involved, because we don't want to socialize. We're just extremely antisocial. So, if your kid gets food from someone else's parents, you're gonna feel guilty to give their kid food later. So instead, you just don't ever do that. From both ways. And it's just like an understood social thing, so that you just don't do that. Because you don't want to have like a, this family's owing something to that family. Because that's getting too involved.
Sounds like some
just-
Witcher shit.
This is, okay, that's
The rule
it's
of
polite,
unexpected
because
meal.
it's, you know, like when you take someone out for dinner or something, or like someone takes you out for dinner and they pay for you, don't you feel a little guilty? Like you feel like there's like some sort of underlying thing that you have to give back at some point.
No, I think.
Listen. I don't know what it is, okay? Turkish people all over the world need to be enslaved just to cut hair, okay? They are just unequivocally the best at it. We just need to get an army of Turkish people and export them all over the world to cut hair because they're just unmatched. They're unmatched. I had Turkish barbers all over fucking California, and they were just, and in Sweden. They were just so good. I don't know why. I think Melina says in Europe, Turkish people are viewed as being like very obsessed with their aesthetics. So maybe that's why. I don't know. Jesus. I feel like they took, you know what? Now I feel like I'm a bitch. Actually, you know what? It looks okay. I think it actually looks okay. Never mind. I changed my mind. I feel like when I was looking in the mirror, I look like a rectangle head, but I think it's okay. Never mind. Actually, I think it looks pretty good. Fuck. Well, now I feel bad. It was Brazilian barbers this time. Okay. I think we're okay. I don't look like a Nazi this time either. Thankfully. Jesus Christ. It looked way worse in the mirror, okay? I swear to God. All right? It's the camera does magic.
You have the exact time and place.
What is the best in slot boxers? Somebody link these Calvin Klein men's cotton 7-pack. Do you think this is
You
it?
have the exact time and place.
Why is this hentai
Nice
so
cut, G.
high quality?
G equals Nomi.
Keep hating your life then, working class Andy.
Wait, is this a hentai? This looks like professionally animated by like...
Who the fuck is this rectangular looking ass? Jesus Christ, Destiny, how much did you for this? My brother does this for free. Holy shit, Miami Steve, more like rectilineary.
Just kidding me, don't use slurs here, you look fine.
Wait, this is like a studio. This isn't, there's no way. This is like a big studio that must have done this. Absolutely. This is like higher
Keep
quality
hating your
than like
life then,
all like
working
normal
class
like
Andy.
broadcast anime. What is this? It's a promo for a manga? Oh, okay. So they just went
Look at
super
him.
try hard for like 45
Yes,
seconds. Oh, okay,
haircut.
okay. Wait, is this good? Does anybody think these are good? How much was your haircut out here versus in Glendale? It was a $30 haircut, which is kind of expensive considering he didn't do like any beard anything, or it seemed kind of expensive. I don't know what my I have so many prices in my head for haircuts. I feel like around LA for a good haircut, I think I paid like 40, 50 or sometimes more. But that would include like beard touch-ups and shit too, I think. And then in Nebraska, it's like $10 or $15 for like a random haircut. I don't think 30 is bad, but it seems like it changes depending on where I go.
Obama.
True grace is beautiful in its imperfection, honest in its emotion, freed.
She's happy looking fresh. No cap on a stack. For real.
Swedes in chat were arguing if this was a normal thing. I remember going to my Swedish friend's house and we were playing in his room. His mom yelled that dinner was ready, and check this, he told me to wait in his room while they ate. That shit was wild. I slept over at a friend's house. When we woke up, he said he's going downstairs for a minute. After 15 minutes, I go and they're eating breakfast. They see me and tell me he's almost done. We'll be up soon.
Once I had grace, now I have
Wait, what's so
pain.
weird about this?
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Wait, what's the weird thing? Oh, that you would go and eat like without your friend? Oh, that would be pretty weird, I guess. Why wouldn't they eat with them? Oh, I don't know. I thought the guy didn't want to or something. Oh, yeah, that's pretty weird that you wouldn't eat with the friend, I guess.
It's good to be square.
Keep hating your life then, working class Andy.
How Reddit accidentally caused a smear campaign against Sweden.
Minions have spawned.
The Nazi cut was fresh.
Obama.
Wait, what the fuck? Are people actually mad about this online? 117,000 likes?
To love
How are
is to
people
be
so
bound.
mad? Is Sweden getting canceled? Wait, hold on. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. No. Okay,
My
now.
wings are heavy, but not as heavy as my heart.
Okay, let's say that you have a friend who goes over to your house when you're like 13.
Let
and
me
they're
show you what
staying
it
the night,
is to
okay?
fall.
When your family eats dinner, what's your friend normally doing?
Eat with
Really?
when you're 13?
Yeah.
Do not conflate darkness
Depends
with
on
evil.
if the kid has eaten or not.
Oh, okay. Alright, well, there you go. Pretty normal. What about for breakfast? Do you eat breakfast with your family? Whatever. Alright, never mind.
What?
Apparently people are real mad because Swedes apparently won't feed friends when they go over to their house.
No, it happens. It's just sometimes. No, it's like this. This is how it is. Okay? I know what it is. Imagine if simultaneously the friend is going over to the friend's house to hang out a little bit before dinner.
I will not
So
forsake
usually
the
what
land
happens
that
is if
shaped
dinner
me,
isn't done
nor the
with their
mistakes.
parents, or like their parents, like yeah, then they would wait to eat with their family because it was already planned. Does that make sense?
Okay, Mo.
Was it a thing that you guys don't do or what?
No, we always feed people, but I.
No, but like, if the family has already made dinner and then like randomly like the kid wants to hang out with the family. There is darkness in every.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't eat with the family then, right? Yeah. Probably wouldn't eat with.
You know why it's like this?
Why?
I know why. It's because if a friend goes over to friend's house, it's a place that never lives in America. That's why. So they have to because it's too far away. But a kid in Sweden could just run home in like 5 minutes. But you can't do that in America. Because you have to drive everywhere.
Okay, Mel.
To see the world in black and white is to blind
No,
yourself.
what the
Wait, I'm
fuck?
right about this. This is true. This is the thing.
Okay.
You guys are Europeans. You don't understand. Here, everything's far away. Okay.
Olky milky.
What else is there?
That's it.
Really? You disturbed me in my master position?
Oh, well, go back and keep master. Nobody's stopping you. Good luck.
Huh?
Go back.
You said, come here. We need to ask you something. I was in the middle of something.
Okay. No, that was it. There's a lot of people online are very mad about this today. Like hundreds of thousands of likes on Twitter, like attacking Sweden, and now everybody's super ass mad.
But there's usually a story. No, I remember I've been sitting like in my friend's room waiting for her to have dinner.
Wait, you would sit in your friend's room waiting for her to have dinner?
Yeah, downstairs. Yeah.
Why?
Because I would eat later with my family.
Wait, really?
Yes. I would like sit and play The Sims or something while she's downstairs eating. What? This is true.
My flaws are a badge of honor.
Wait, so you'll just be upstairs, locked in a fucking closet,
No, I would
while
sit
the
and play
whole
Sims.
family downstairs is eating,
yeah.
gorging themselves on food.
They'd be done in like 10 minutes.
And then your friend would come upstairs and be like, mmm,
No, because
and
I
you'd be
would
like,
wait-
can I have some?
No, I would like eat later.
Okay.
That's the point. Because otherwise my family would have like.
Couldn't you just call them and say, hey, I'm going to be over at XYZ's tonight?
No, because we're already sitting dinner.
Okay.
I think so. From what but I remember that this happened, yes, several times.
Okay.
I think it would be the same thing. I think my friend would be over and we wouldn't see her either. She would sit upstairs.
Okie milky.
This is not a thing anywhere else.
I feel like in America, I think even
Sweden should
among
be denied NATO membership for this alone.
even among white families, I think if you go over, like the moms would always be like, "Oh no, let me get you extra food." Like they'd always have
Some
like,
moms. Like I had one friend that had a mom that would always make me food.
like if I in
Is she
in
hating your life
America
then, working class Andy?
with any black friends, Hispanic friends, or white friends, if we went to each other's houses, if you didn't eat dinner with them, they would be offended. Like if I went to a friend's house and if I was at the friend's house and they like made food and I was like, oh no, I'll just wait up here, it's fine. Like the parents would get mad at you. They'd be like, we're not mad, but they would be like, are you sure you don't want to eat? Like you can come, we've got plenty of food. Like that's what would happen in the United States.
I'm trying to think. I think it could be the case too that it was too awkward to hang out with the parents, so they didn't want to do that. I remember whenever there was like, oh, you're gonna eat with Sarah's family, I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. It's really awkward. I don't want to do it. Yeah, it was just like uncomfortable to talk to parents.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would rather eat at home. I would rather like leave whenever there was food. It was too awkward.
Okay.
Because
You couldn't act normal. You
only
would just have to, like,
death
sit
can
and
break
think
my
something like
bones.
that.
And
Okay.
I am immortal.
Okie milky.
Okie milky. Any more questions for the Swedish expert? European expert. What can I go master?
Yep, come on. Fun. Good luck. What is? I'm just imagining. I'm just imagining these poor kids, like they're just like upstairs, like shivering in hunger as their friends are gorging on these luscious meals prepared. Yeah, our Europeans are unhinged. Why? What? Love you.
are proud to announce the cancellation and dissolution of Sweden. This is only the beginning. Now that Sweden has been canceled, we shall now set our sights on the Netherlands. Ever wondered what a ticket is?
Oh, I realize now. I'm sorry, guys. I realize now after reading through the Vosh thread why people are so fucking mad at my tweet. People didn't consider the KPD to be communists because they were Stalinists, and that's not real communism. That's one of the reasons why people are so fucking mad. But my bad. I forgot. I forgot the no true communist argument that applies to literally every single attempted communist regime. They don't actually count. All of them magically become state capitalists. Crazy how that works, huh? For non-Euro schizo shit. Wait, or what? For other Euro crazy shit. Have a coworker's Dutch. We both need to go to the same project the next day. Offer to drive us, I'll pick him up. He says thanks, give me his address. The next day I drive over to his home. He isn't fully ready to leave yet, but I was going inside. He asks about coffee. He says sure. Wife thanks, get coffee. Wife thanks, get ready. Driving the project, driving to home. Says thank you so much for driving in. I can always stop here. Notification calling my phone. It is a ticky for 0.5 euro for my Dutch colleague. Wait, Mel. What is a ticky? What is a ticky?
I prefer an honest sinner over a righteous liar.
What is a ticky?
I don't know.
Tikkie? Oh, it's just only Dutch people? If you eat lunch or get coffee at a Dutch friend's house, will they send you a ticky to charge you money for it?
Wait, what? What's that mean? I don't get it.
So this guy picked his friend up and he had coffee at his friend's house, his wife made, and then the guy sends him a bill for the coffee, a ticky.
No, we don't do this. I don't know what this is.
The Dutch are stingy, very, very stingy. This is not real. I've never seen this before. It's a meme that Dutch people are greedy as fuck.
They are right to be afraid.
This shit unironically happens. This is fake, by the way. Oof, I don't know. I mean,
My broken heart still beats.
aren't they all Scandinavian?
No, wait, what? Dutch people are not Scandinavian.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I'm sure.
When you were in Amsterdam, you were in Scandinavia.
Wait.
You're mixing up with Danish people.
Oh yeah, fuck.
Liars choose virtue,
Which one are Danish again?
Denmark.
Oh,
That's Scandinavia.
Denmark is Scandinavia. Wait, where is Amsterdam at?
The Netherlands?
Where's that at?
Where?
Is that Scandinavia?
No, it's not Scandinavia.
What the fuck is in Denmark? Oh, Copenhagen.
That place.
There you go. Okay, leave. We're done with you. Bye. Love you.
Love you too.
Bitch.
You really disturbed me twice.
Through sickness and health, Mel. Yeah.
I was betrayed.
My Danish.
Okay, hold on. Stefan De White, I am Dutch, can confirm some of us are just transactional. Why would you donate $20? You only have to pay $5 for the guy to read his thing. You guys make me feel so bad. Jesus.
Hello, I'm Dutch.
Dutch.
Imagine thinking that skipping a meal of Swedish food is a bad thing, ECH.
My Danish counterpart.
Hello, I'm Dutch.
Oh, sorry. Dutch national anthem. Are you proud to be a Dutch person?
Yeah, I'm very proud to be
Wow,
Dutch.
Dan, your mom's
Where
food
is
smells
Dutch at?
amazing. When do you think it will be ready? Dan, what the fuck? Who said you were getting chicken nuggets? But Dan, I'm your
Where is
friend.
Dutch
I'm
at?
hungry. Dan, you fuck nerd, go mine some more scrap for our base.
Danish is Denmark, Dutch is the Netherlands, right? Why, how do you get Dutch from Netherlands? Why?
I've heard something very special. Important people, very important people are telling me this all right. I'll let you know too, but you need to keep it hush-hush. Ready? Okay. You can go and pet the ducks at the pond for free. Don't tell.
Exact time and place.
Wait, how are so many people? Oh no, you Swedish people. I can understand it's a different culture, but in America, this sounds like
I'm
literally
Dutch, can confirm.
the most autistic thing in the world.
Some of us are just as transactional as you.
No, this like waiting in your room while your friend goes and eats just sounds so horrible.
Keep hating your life then, working class Andy.
I know, but now Swedes are like writing articles online like, yeah, what's the problem? We just waited in the room while our fucking friend went to eat. People are mad all over the internet today because Swedish people are getting blown the fuck up.
Didn't say Simon Says.
Just some random Swedish fuck, but the people are like writing articles and shit on it now.
No way. No, we don't care about this. Why would we care?
I know you don't. I'm just saying it sounds really.
Talking to the parents. You could avoid it.
They're just like, I'll be back. I'm gonna go eat food now while you starve in my room playing video games.
Rose wrist guy or whatever was his name?
Rose wrist.
Yeah. Ask him.
Didn't say Simon Says.
Wait, show me.
Please
Wait.
kindly consider looking into the Melinda.
Yeah, because now there's like a huge thing on Reddit, and now everybody's getting like super ass mad.
Oh my god. Wait, why are there... No one cares. Everyone does it to everyone. Okay, everyone is equally
Bro, read the
treated.
room. What are you doing here?
What?
Just cringe black people on Twitter.
Do you really have to say they're black?
Yes. There's like a group of like college-aged black people on Twitter where every single thing you talk about is about colonialism, because it's like for some reason it must have been some class where they all learned the word, and every topic that comes up on Twitter is somehow about colonialism. It's just cringe as fuck.
Dutch is an old-timey name for German speakers. That is why Pennsylvania Dutch are German-speaking. Netherlands before Dutch spoke German.
Simon Says.
Netherlands equal Dutchland and Germany equal Deutschland. Why?
Obama.
Of course, Swedes don't serve guests. You can't just whip up a new roast moose or whatever.
Get your key. Get your key. Get your key. Oh, you got a piece of gunner. Fucking perfect.
Netherlands means low country since it's at the end of the Rhine River. Cool story, bro.
Nothing
Okay.
makes you feel alive like knowing you might.
Wait, do you really call them this, Mel?
Yes, the old people do. Old people do. My mom actually did for a while. Now she doesn't anymore.
Mel, what the fuck?
Not all light is
Jesus.
Remember, I used to make those.
Wait, do you actually use the N-word, or are you using the word for black in your language?
No, it is N-word.
Why? Do you even have the N-word in Swedish?
Yes.
Do you call
Say
people...
what it is.
What?
I can't say what it is, right?
Do you call people the N-word in Sweden?
No, but old people do, or people from like the north that doesn't ever see them. Because sometimes that happens. We don't use it as like it's not like we say it like to the balls, no. But like it was called that for a very long time. So some old people just never got out of it.
I'm just curious, do you have like the N-word in Sweden?
Yes.
That you call black people when you're being racist?
Yes.
How many black people are in Sweden?
I don't know.
I don't know if I've ever seen a black person in Sweden before, even in Malmo.
Miranda's boyfriend.
Oh, that was the one. Is he even from Sweden, or is he an immigrant?
He's from Sweden. It's like the...
Okay, Uppsala has one black person, okay?
You know the word black in Spanish?
Is negro.
It's like that, yeah.
But that that word doesn't mean...
It means black.
Yeah, but we have a word in...
No, we don't have... No, it means the N-word.
Okay. All right, love you.
Yeah.
My sister
I don't know why we
cauterized
had-
her
honestly, I don't
wound
know
in
why.
holy fire. Mine remains.
Jesus Christ.
Sweden super briefly colonized Africa, and failed epically.
Didn't say Simon Says.
Battles bring out so many emotions.
How does your poor black friend...
Keep hating your life then, working class
Check out the
dandy.
latest from Russian propaganda.
Your poor black friend is like playing The Sims in your room while you and your family go to eat N-word balls.
I did not fall from grace.
I'll be back.
Holy shit, is this what liberals want out of our country? to eat and drink in front of starving children, to name chocolate after our colonial past. Remember, kids, guns don't kill people. Starvation kills people.
But that word doesn't mean.
It means plus.
Yeah, but we have a word in.
No, we don't have. No, it means that.
Okay. All right. Love you.
Yeah. I don't know why we had. Honestly, I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
Sweden super briefly colonized Africa and failed epically.
Didn't say Simon Says.
How does your poor black friend?
Keep hating your life then, working class
Check out
Andy.
the latest from Russian propaganda.
Your poor black friend is like playing The Sims in your room while you and your family go to eat N-word balls. I'll be back.
I walk so I can feel each fraction of the earth.
Holy shit, is this what liberals want out of our country? To eat and drink in front of starving children, to name chocolate after our colonial past. Remember, kids, guns don't kill people. Starvation kills people.
Some pray to fate. I forge my own path.
An ally has been slain.
The earth reflects your torment.
An ally has been slain.
Home. A place that believes you. Onward through this unchanging land.
Hassan is liking tweets, calling this guy an annoying fat. As a heads up, yeah, I am 180 on this. I hope everybody that sees this gets mad, including Lauren, including anybody else. Oh my God, how did Vosh jump on that fucking train? People tweet at me and they're like, Destiny, don't you use the N-word slur though? And it's like, at Destiny, what's your opinion on the either it's all okay or none of it's okay take? And do you think in comedy anything should be off limits? I hate you so much. I'm sorry. Let me give you a more agreeable statement. You fucking Neanderthal, okay?
Only those you love.
This guy. Dude, this guy has got progressives hella triggered. Oh my God.
I love when people are like, you have a moderate policy, you lost my vote. Oh, what vote was that? Was that the vote you were gonna give to some Bernie wannabe whose overkill policies are unpopular with 75% of voters, just so you could feel good about yourself until they lose the general election, at which point you'll point your finger and blame someone else? That vote? Oh, honey, your vote got lost a long time ago. Democrats need to wake up. Jesus, in order to legislate, we have to win. Go to walkerforcolorado.com and stop complaining.
Woo! Damn. Bro, we are full on. I don't even know what to say. I'm just kidding, I'm a streamer, I always know what to say. During the Pete Buttigieg stuff, a lot of people made fun of me. A lot of you guys made fun of me, by the way. You. Tuck Fwitch, D-Crew, Miasma, Leon. I bet it was all you, okay? All of you. If I had enough poison,
To love is to be bound.
I'd surely have enough to make you all swallow it or something. Whatever that one guy said.
Mortal
all of you guys got mad because I said during the Pete Buttigieg stuff, I kind of felt like was a little bit weird that a lot of people on the left seemed like they were being a little bit homophobic, okay? That was my feeling. I kind of felt that. Kind of felt like people were being a little bit homophobic.
My wings are heavy.
And I just said it was like insane that like with now this guy, another guy comes out and Hassan is liking tweets calling this guy an annoying fag. What the fuck? This is like unreal to me. What? And I've seen like people are showing up in like the mentions and they're saying shit like, oh well, the Ben Awareness guy is gay, so it's okay. And I'm like, wait, what? Are you serious? This is wild to me. He said it was an accident on stream, but yeah, okay, Chief.
Do not conflate darkness with evil.
But like, I don't know. I just think, and then if you go through this guy's quote tweets, other people have been, you know, like going through and like looking at shit. But it's basically just a bunch of people saying like, fuck this guy, he's gay. There was somebody that's fought with me on Twitter before. I don't remember her name. Ween or something. Her there, I don't remember. But somebody with blue hair. But they, I think they come out, what was their tweet? It was something along the lines of like this is a guy that looks like he wakes up and eats a dick for breakfast or gets fucked in the ass for breakfast. It was like, wait, what the fuck? Why? What the fuck is wrong with you? Jesus. I'm homophobic. Yeah, I think I saw one post on a Sun subreddit and people were defending it.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Imagine imagine for Destiny. Imagine if Destiny got into a fight with a black guy and was like, I'm racist now. Imagine if Destiny got into a fight with black guys like, man, these people make me tempted to be racist. Imagine if I got into a fight with the whole trans community that got my Twitch channel banned. And I said, man, it sure is tempting to make 41% jokes sometimes, but I'm not going to do it. I wonder if the treatment would be the same. I don't know. I guess we'll never know, huh?
Shut down.
Oh, is this one? This guy talks like he wakes up each morning with a dick in his ass. It's just so weird. Or not really. I mean, like, if you want to be homophobic, be based and be homophobic, but at least own it. Jesus. Oh yeah, I'm gay. It's okay. LOL. Does Destiny really care about homophobes? If so, why is it cool with Fuentes? Here's why I think it's easier for me to be friends. Here's why it's easier for me to be friends with conservatives, okay? If I argue with Nick about something, Nick will call me a degenerate cucklord, and I know exactly where I stand with him. I know 100% what he thinks of me. Or if I argue with Lauren about some shit, and I say we were arguing about immigration or some shit, and she's like, oh, well, you know what? I think that your left-leaning views are fucking degenerate. I'm like, okay, cool. I know exactly where we stand. For people that are, like, conservative, if they don't like me, or if they don't like positions, at least I know what they are. Whereas like these lefty snaky fucks are like hiding in the. I don't know what the fuck any of these fucking people believe. I don't know what they believe. Maybe if I was a conservative, maybe I would have similar issues with conservatives. Maybe because I'm left leaning, it's more easy to see because we're like so diametrically opposed. But yeah, with lefties, I don't know. I don't know who any of these fucking people are. I don't know what the fuck they believe because they'll tell me that they like me one day and then like 3 days later, feel completely 180 on whatever the fuck they were talking about before. You know.
Oh, honey, your vote got lost a long time ago. Democrats need to wake up. Jesus, in order to legislate, we have to win. Go to Walker.
Yeah. I got you. Hold on. Okay. We just got a DGG analyst prediction for the 2022 midterms. Are you guys ready for this? DGG analyst prediction. It's a rough one.
Obama.
Has to do with the progressives. We are predicting a major rightward shift in Congress, and we are predicting progressives out on Twitter in full force, saying that the reason why the Democrats lost is because they didn't move left enough, even though the entire electorate is moving right. Now, that's a solidified, that is a golden S-grade DGG analyst prediction. Quote it right now, April 13th, 2022. Play it back when it happens in the future, okay? I'm losing my mind. I'll just never, I can't tell if it's good faith, bad faith, or stupidity, right? When people are like, don't you say the N-word or whatever, do we not understand the difference between like the utterance of a slur versus calling somebody a slur? For all you can say about like my edgy takes on language or edgy humor that I engage in, like in stream shit, I have never in the history, probably actually personally or publicly my entire life, called a black person the N-word. I've never done that in my entire life. You think that that's the same as calling like a gay person a fat? Like me just uttering like a word? Like, do you really think that's the same? It's such a juvenile engagement with the language. Like, it's unbelievable to me. Holy shit. Hassan's chat was spamming cigarettes when he was going over the tweet. Nice. Are you hearing about the dream shit? No, I don't know anything about dream. I don't
To
follow
walk
that.
barefoot, skin to soil.
Oh, also, as a heads up, yeah, I am 180 on this. I hope everybody that sees this gets mad, including Lauren, including anybody else. If you see lefty people like engaging in this shit on Twitter that they would report other people for, like if you see them using slurs and shit like that, you guys should massacre the fuck out of it. Unironically. When you see shit like this, click the drop downs, report that shit. If you think it breaks the TOS, spam report the fuck out of people that do this, because it's actually fucking disgusting. Unironically. It's actually unbelievable. You have my full endorsement, okay? The hate speech needs to fucking stop. And if that means a bunch of right-wing fascist DGGers going out into Twitter and mowing down these homophobic, racist, hateful fucks on Twitter with their spam report buttons, then they have my fucking blessing, okay?
This is you, though, just a lot gayer riffing on Democrats? No, but I wouldn't riff on people who are going to potentially vote Democrat or not because they, you know, they have, like, moral convictions, you know what I mean? And they want to see their politicians actually represent said values.
I don't.
Oh, fine. Your vote got lost so long.
Don't care about this.
Now, I have two things to say on this. First of all, being fully serious.
Yes.
You actually cannot be bigoted against a person because you don't like their political positions. It actually doesn't work that way. You can't do it.
We are the sum of our mistakes.
I can do it.
Wait, what does that mean?
Because I'm a member of that group. And in my head, this guy is like flagging every single stereotype for somebody in my head. And I'm thinking just like...
Bro! Okay, I don't know if I need to say this. So mad, what the fuck? Stereotypes exist for a reason. A lot of people fit stereotypes. This is why stereotypes exist. But you can't say that, right? Like, if a person comes into my house, and I'm like, man, this black guy came into my house, he was fitting so many stereotypes, the way that he talked, the way that he dressed, like, why would you think it's okay? I don't know, I mean, like, you can argue that it's funny, but you can't do it selectively. You have to say, okay, fine, conservatives are based, racist and homophobic humor is back on the table.
Just, you know, if you listen, if you think like I've got like, you know.
Did he get all of this also from a 45-second video clip, or did he go out and find new shit? Is this all coming off of one fucking clip? Vouch. We can do better, buddy. Well, you probably can actually.
Funny misogyny up here. White gay men, holy shit, it's to the racetracks. It's, oh god, so much energy up here. So much of my neural activity dedicated to homophobia, exclusively against white gay men. What about black gay men?
No.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Which is especially stupid because there can be black gay men that act just as stereotypically whatever as white gay men. So I don't even know what, like, what does this comment even mean?